Jackie,
Kyle,
welcome.
welcome
Back to the pod.
Yeah, welcome to Two Tired Therapists.
Are you a tired therapist?
I'm always a tired therapist. When am I not tired?
When
Might
are
be the
you
better
not?
question, which is almost never.
When I'm on vacation.
Maybe when I have an iced coffee and a good night's sleep.
I don't like iced coffee. I know. Take my gay card away.
Oh,
I want it hot. It could be 98 degrees, and I'm
Canceled.
like, get canceled. Canceled. Give me that hot coffee.
see, for me, I honestly have to drink hot coffee for sure. Like I hardly ever order iced coffee in the fall and winter. Hardly ever, unless it's like super hot outside. In the fall,
Because you're probably
but
getting that pumpkin spice latte.
yes,
I agree.
I'm not ashamed.
You shouldn't be.
Although, yes, Dunkin' Donuts is much better than
Oh,
Starbucks.
see, I've never been.
Oh, no. Canceled.
Canceled. Truly.
This is the episode where we
Truly.
cancel Kyle. No.
I'm what's tired this week.
Yes, I'm tired of Kyle.
I'm tired of Kyle's
That'd be
bullshit.
so sad if one day, like, we didn't talk about it and I was, what are you tired of, you, Kyle?
Me. Just hard stop.
I don't know what I would do.
It wouldn't happen. There's
it
no
wouldn't
need to
happen.
worry. We don't
No.
need to talk about it.
It wouldn't happen.
What are you tired of, though?
Bullshit.
Say more.
Just everyone's bullshit.
Yeah.
People who make decisions in, like, high places bullshit.
Yeah.
My own bullshit.
Well. Mm-hmm.
Just bull. I mean,
Just-
it's.
yeah.
I hate to say it, like it's very generic sounding. It's just bullshit. I just am very tired of bullshit. Like I value honesty, and I don't like to deal with people telling me, "Oh, it's okay," or "No, it's not okay."
Yeah.
Let's
No, it's
be
not.
honest about it. It's fine.
Mhm.
I'd rather you hit me with a brick than
Yeah.
say, "Oh no, we're besties," and then I turn
Oh.
around and then you hit me with a brick. Like I'd rather see it coming.
Right.
If
I'd
that
rather you
makes-
just smack me in the face.
Exactly.
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah.
like that stuff.
Yeah.
It's making you tired.
So this is gonna say a lot about me, I
Oh,
think,
the
when I
pauses
say
are
this. I
very
know.
telling
Very
already.
dramatic. Very dramatic.
Very telling already.
Very telling. People who drive slow in the left lane.
Okay.
Because
Yes, agreed.
I consider myself an assertive driver. Some might say aggressive.
I was about to say, this is an aggressive.
I don't think I'm aggressive because I'm still very safe. Like I'm not like going
You're not, like,
like going 90 on my
actively hitting
phone.
People.
No, and I've never knock on wood, never
Do
been
you
in
have
an
one of those dash
accident.
cams? I guess maybe that's also something I'm tired of is these dash cams.
No, that's too much.
but we
No,
might
no.
have to go into that.
I do have what this is a little tired is I do have a vanity plate that it says move over, but it's mirrored, so when people see it in their rear view mirror,
Yeah.
and it works. Let me tell you, but sometimes it doesn't work because people get in this left-hand lane, and they go, let's say the speed limit. Now, okay, listen, I know not people get anxious when they drive. People they don't like driving. I see you.
But
I
why are you in the
validate
left
you.
lane though if you're that
Why
scared?
are you in the left lane though if you're that scared?
Because you really shouldn't go more than the right lane if you're really that nervous.
Right, and people, I just like to drive safely. And okay, great, I love that for you. Get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah,
Because
I'm with you on that.
I'm going. It's 45. It's a school zone. I'm going 90. Get out of my way.
I am just blasting through this bitch
Right.
up in here.
All right, so like just PSA, if you are driving near the speed limit, please get over either the middle
We
or the
were
right lane.
Justin and I were just driving somewhere where somebody, I forget where it was, but there was somebody in the left lane who was on the major highway around the undisclosed location that we live in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they were going maybe everyone else was going 60 to 80 miles per hour, like with traffic. This person
Sure.
was maybe going 40 at maximum. All the
right.
way in the left lane.
No,
Would not get over.
No reason.
Almost caused probably about 2 or 3 accidents at the time. And then we got over, we passed them and went back. And they were holding
No.
up probably 10 cars. I'm like,
Just
why
get
are you
over.
all the way in the left? And
Yeah.
they were not an older driver. They were not seemed younger. I was like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Up in there?
Yeah.
Nothing.
So yeah, get out of the way so us assertive drivers can go where we have to go. Assertive.
Read aggressive.
See, aggressive.
No, I'm with you on that though.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it until I don't know. It was always the pass lane, so you just didn't use it unless you're like where I'm originally from. It's the pass lane, but you just go fast.
Yeah,
Zoom,
no,
zoom.
not around here. No, it's the zoom lane.
Anybody goes wherever they want in this undisclosed location.
And
I
this,
hate it.
yeah, truly, yeah.
No one cares.
But so yeah, I'm
Tired of
that this
I feel you.
this week. But I am jazzed that this is our
This is
third and final
yes. This is
installment
yes, this is
of
the
our
final.
trilogy.
The cluster C's.
The cluster C's. I think probably, I don't know. Would you say they're the more rare, or I feel like people don't know these even exist.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't think a lot of people realize that they exist. And honestly, I don't think I've met and or worked with a single person with any of these. Like, it's not. You'll see why once we start talking about it. Why you
Yeah.
don't see these.
Again, not to the degree that they would warrant like a full-blown diagnosis.
Right,
I think
right.
these can mask as other things, because these are known as the anxious,
Yes, this is
right?
the anxious
personality.
Yes, the anxious grouping. So yes,
The
cluster
anxious
C.
trio, if you will.
Yeah, that's yes. I know
So, yeah. So no experience on your end, you
that.
think?
No, I would say none at all. I honestly have been thinking about it, and I can't think of a single. I
Yeah.
can't think of a single time where it came
Yeah.
up.
No, not yeah. Again, not in that sense of like it's full blown. Definitely the traits. I think this is more of a trait heavy. So,
Yes.
because in this one we're talking about the avoidant
Yes.
personality,
Mhm.
the dependent
Mhm.
personality, and the obsessive compulsive personality.
Yes.
I'm very excited to talk about that one. And
Yes, I know.
educate the kids
Educate the childrens.
and the TikTokers,
Yo.
the TikTokers.
I feel like dependent's another one that probably needs to be educated on.
yeah, I think so.
It's not my
Yeah.
not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But yes, those are the anxious
Those are the
trio.
three. Those are the three. So you want to jump in and
Sure.
we'll talk about the avoidance.
Yes.
Do you want to explain, or would you want me to do it?
It doesn't matter to me. I can do it.
Go for it.
it's-
Tell us about the avoidance.
the
What are they doing?
They like to avoid. I know it's
That's crazy.
shocking.
Uh,
We couldn't have spoiler
plot
alert.
twist.
They like to they like to avoid. They typically avoid people in social situations because they're afraid of rejection and criticism.
mm-hmm.
They feel that they're not good enough. Have a large fear of disappointing other people, which I feel like this is a little bit different than like social anxiety.
It's the extreme.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's like we've said on all the other podcasts, but we didn't do it again. But we, disclaimer.
Oh yeah, disclaimer.
Same rules apply.
Ethics.
Uh-huh,
diagnosing.
You're not.
Stop that.
But
Mhm.
I think social anxiety falls. People can mess
Yeah.
these two up. I think.
Yeah.
But they're people with avoidant personality, sort of shy, timid,
Mm-hmm.
preference of being alone and avoiding romantic relationships because they don't want to be mocked and shamed.
Yeah.
So we're not because of remember from the first installment, the schizoid personality disorder, they don't want to have anything to do with like a romantic relationship or any
Right.
kind of relationships. These people are afraid of being made fun of, and I
Yeah.
hate that for them.
Yeah, and I think it's the extreme part where it's the shame and like being mocked, right?
Yes.
Like again, social anxiety is like, oh, I'm gonna be embarrassed or people are gonna criticize me. This is like 10 times that.
Well, you got to think when we all because we all avoid stuff, right? We all
Yeah, it's not always unhealthy.
you're avoiding it for a reason.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you're afraid of something. You're ashamed of something. So this is the version of it where it's
Yeah.
so debilitating for them that they can't
Right.
even think about it without
Right.
having maybe some type
Yeah,
of
because usually even with social anxiety, people have friends
Mhm.
and they
Right.
do things that they're comfortable with.
right.
But again, in this is more of that pervasive and all through your
Mhm.
different aspects of your life.
Yes.
Because there's a evolutionary theory that social anxiety is actually adaptive, because
Oh.
back in the day when we were village people,
YMCA.
village people, that you had to fit in, right? You had to
Right,
make
right.
sure you didn't stick out and look weird,
Right.
because they'd boot your ass out and you'd be gone.
Yeah.
Right? Because
100%.
in this day and age, you can sustain yourself on your own. We have lots of resources and things, but
True.
just a couple years ago, didn't have that.
Right.
Didn't have that.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know.
I could buy into that.
Yeah.
I love that. So fictional examples.
Who you got? Not a lot, right?
Not a lot.
Not a
Honestly,
lot,
not
yeah.
a lot. There, the one article I looked at pretty much said we couldn't think of anything
Right.
because this is not somebody that you would see as a main character or any kind of character in a book,
Right,
a
'cause
TV
how
show,
boring.
right? How boring.
Mhm.
But some that we did find.
Mm-hmm.
Fear from Inside Out.
Yeah. And you said you'd, again, never seen this movie because you don't watch quality footage media.
Right. I should watch Inside Out. I
You
think, I think
should.
every person who works in mental health should probably watch Inside
I think
Out.
everyone in the world should watch it.
Actually, when I worked at the prison, one of my coworkers made a whole skills group out
Yeah.
of watching the movie and then talking about like the emotional piece of it.
It's truly, I mean, like, it's accurate. It is accurate.
For sure. Yeah.
It is accurate.
The bits and pieces I've seen, I was like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I just have never seen it. But yeah, Fear. And then Elsa from Frozen.
Yeah.
Never seen that one either.
Oh my God.
You know, when it was.
What's the point?
Well, when it was big, I just was like, everybody kept talking about the movie itself.
Your antisocial self came out and said, I'm not watching that.
Right. I was like, you're telling me I need to watch
right.
it?
I am watching that.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I'm watching that shit.
I'm not doing that. Otherwise, I was trying to think of people who really fell into this, and I couldn't honestly think of any characters or any even
None
like
specifically, no. I think it's just that kind of I don't know. I want to say that stereotypical, like, socially anxious, but it's so much more than that.
Oh, for
I mean,
sure.
I think the Elsa thing is pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Because she was so, I mean, again, hers kind of had more of a specific foundation because it was her power. She didn't want to be seen as a weirdo.
Right.
But I guess that, I mean, that counts, I suppose.
Yeah. I could see that.
And she kept herself hidden and didn't want to disappoint people, and she wasn't dating, right? She never never dated anybody.
Right.
Criticism, all that.
Right.
And she kind of shut the doors to the kingdom, and you know, but
the cold never bothered her anyway.
Cold never bothered her anyway. So
exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I could see it. I think that's the best we can really.
Yeah, I'm with that one too.
Yeah. And then, so you have the opposite kind of end. You have the dependents.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
So this is the people that have probably, arguably, no self-confidence at all.
Probably.
Or very, very,
very low.
Small amount.
Mm-hmm.
They cling to people
Mm-hmm.
almost, not in like the borderline sense of like, I love you, don't leave me, but more so like cling, like, I need you to help me make a decision because you can't make a decision on your own.
Right.
They can't, and if they try to make a decision, they need lots and lots of feedback and encouragement about said decision. They can't even make their own plans without input from someone else.
Right. Should I have eggs or cereal for breakfast? I don't know. I gotta call someone. I gotta ask.
I can't even imagine. But I mean, that's just me. I can't imagine. I again, if I could live off the grid for the rest of my life, I would do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, people with dependent personality disorder, can't make their own plans, can't complete ADLs, activities of daily living on their own. And they tend to be people pleasers, and they have a really tough time being single, which I could see if you're really dependent on someone else.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. For me, this would just be so difficult
I
because I
know.
just am so very independent.
We have independent personality disorder.
Yeah. We have IPD. Yeah.
IPD.
I just, and I can see it. I've met a few people in my life who I think have traits of this where it's like, I need you to tell me what to do. And it's like, why do you need me to tell you? Like, I mean, can't you make a decision or can't you think this through?
Well, and again, there's that sort of appropriate, like, if someone's switching, like, a career. Right. And they're like, I just want to ask all my friends. That's not this.
No, it's like, cereal or eggs.
Right.
Pants or shorts.
Or, like,
Shirt
should
or
I
tank
go
top.
to Walmart or
Target
to go do my grocery shopping?
Right.
I don't know, what's cheaper, but this is closer, but I don't know, this one, I don't know.
Right.
I'm more familiar with Walmart, but Target's so great. And like, it's that,
Right.
it's that level of indecisiveness.
Well, do you feel like people who have this, like in a romantic relationship, they would take on the personality or traits of their partner? Like, I know it's not part of the diagnostic card, but I'm wondering, like, as we're talking about
Sort of like
this,
a chameleon effect.
Yeah.
kinda
Like, it's
thing.
very much, like, if your partner's favorite color was green and all of a sudden you bought everything green.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, that's how
I think so.
Like, that's how I see this.
Yeah, I think because in a way, where with, borderline and more of the cluster Bs, it's that really unstable self-esteem or self-worth. I think with the dependent, it's more it's like they're a blank slate, and they just are kind of like okay, just copy and paste,
Like
and then
I absorb what you do into me,
Mhm.
and then
And
when we're
then-
done, I go back
Right.
to being, whatever I am, if they even can say
Right.
that.
It's like if I were like, oh, Jackie, what's your favorite color?
Whatever your favorite color is.
Oh,
No, it's like teal.
oh, that's mine too. Teal's my favorite color. Yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
I love that. Like
Yeah.
the aqua, whatever you want to call it, robin's egg blue.
mine too,
Whatever you want to.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what it would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Except we would be funny to be like, oh, my favorite color is blue, and they'd be like, oh, mine too. I'm just kidding. It's actually red.
Right.
What's the truth?
It's
What is the truth?
right. Oh gosh. Well, and I think of these people as just being so. I don't know why, but I feel like tearful, like just constantly on the edge of
probably.
like tears. I don't.
Uh-huh.
Since we're both admitting we don't have much experience treating people with this, and we're just like, oh well, I've never met somebody with this, but this is what I
Maybe
imagine.
we have.
I just imagine them to be very like tearful or very like
Anxious.
on edge.
I'm sure. Yeah.
very.
If they have to make a decision.
100%.
Well, so our examples,
Yes.
which, so this one is one I found, and I thought we could talk about it, and it was Cinderella,
Yes.
and I think on the surface, yes, because she was very much that people pleaser for
Right.
her family, and she did everything, and she
But she was also like an indentured servant to
right,
her family.
yeah. I
Like,
mean, I think you could argue she more had like Stockholm syndrome,
yeah,
and
for sure.
was pulling a Patty Hearst and just
Right.
loving her captors and joining them. But it was very like trauma based, right? Like
Right, yes.
she was being like abused
Yeah,
psychologically.
I don't see her as somebody who couldn't like. I mean, you think about, especially like in the later part of the movie when she goes to the ball and I mean, she wasn't like afraid. Like she was making those choices.
But she didn't make those choices.
I know, but
The fairy godmother made those choices.
it's
She didn't ask for that pumpkin to be a carriage.
I don't know that I agree with Cinderella, but I see it. I can
Yeah.
I can see the traits of it for sure.
Yeah.
The other one that we had that I agree with is Peter Pettigrew
Yeah,
from Harry Potter.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he was just very,
Well, he was very dependent on
literally mousy. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
literally, yes.
literally mousy or ratty.
Well, very
I guess.
dependent on Voldemort
Yeah.
for lots of reasons, but
Well, and even when he was young, I mean, he was with the
yeah, he was with that whole like friend group with
Yeah.
like James and Sirius and all of them. Yes,
and he just kind of did what they did
yes,
and
then he,
didn't
like,
really have his own
spoiler
like
alert, like cut off his own hand basically to give Voldemort life,
right.
and then literally did whatever Voldemort said to him after
Right.
that. Yeah, that one checks for sure. That one
Yeah.
is very much.
Mhm.
Ooh, he was
Yeah.
very.
Yeah, just very anxious about it.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was a very anxious dude.
And then that leads us to the obsessive compulsive personality disorder.
Yes.
So, what's this one, Jackie? Tell us about it.
This one, okay. So this is not the same thing as OCD, which I know you're gonna want to talk.
Oh, I would love to talk about that.
Go ahead.
Well, tell us what's about first, and then we'll say why it's different.
So this is more like a strong desire for order and control, which will like alienate you from people because you
Yes.
want everything to be very specific and rigid.
Right.
You're very focused on details, perfection,
And not like cleaning. Not like my sink needs
no.
to be clean. No, we're not talking about that.
No,
Mm-mm.
it's very rule following, like, and even like rules you create for yourself,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we all do that in some
Mhm.
degree. You have a hard time delegating out to other people because they don't probably do a good job
Mm-hmm.
or they don't do it
Mhm.
correctly enough for you. The hoarding behaviors in this too
Can be.
can stubborn, very, very stubborn, frugal with money, extreme feelings of when you can't have any of the above things. You can't have order, you can't have control.
Right.
It's a
And-
wreck.
And we're talking like any change, right? So I
Yes.
always picture like the high-powered corporate executive, right? Where
Yes.
it's like on Tuesdays we have the meeting about the Delgado account,
Mm-hmm.
and it starts at 1, and if we start at 1:03, all
Yes.
hell is breaking loose because
Yes.
we said we're starting at 1 and
yes.
we're off.
Yes.
And
100%.
and then it's like bleh, like so this and I would dare say nothing to do with OCD.
No, I would
I think
absolutely agree.
they can look alike, perfectionism. There's this weird subset of OCD with like ruminating thoughts and stuff.
Right,
We won't get
right.
into that right now, but with OCD, you're looking for those rituals or those compulsions or those
Right.
behaviors that you're doing to basically make the thoughts go away.
Like self-soothing.
Like self-soothing.
Yeah.
Right. So, you're washing your hands 15 times because that's getting the germs off of
Right.
your hands, right?
Right.
Like the thought is, oh, I have these germs on my hands, I'm going to get sick, so I need to wash them 15 times to know they're
Yes.
clean.
Yes.
So that we are not seeing that in the obsessive compulsive personality.
Correct.
This is just more of your perfectionism
Yes. 100%.
types.
Yes. Very much so. Yeah, I would argue also, like you said, it has nothing to do with OCD, which
No,
that's another one that's like very self-diagnosed of people.
it is.
And it's
Mhm.
very much, it's not because you like things clean.
No, or you like put your shoes lined up in
Right.
front of the door.
Right. It's very much deeper than that, which we could have probably a whole separate podcast dedicated to OCD.
Well, people will say, "Oh, when I'm stressed, I clean," and I'm like, "That's anxiety. That's
right.
not
That's
OCD."
not OCD.
No.
OCD is very much like we said, the self-soothing. You have to do
Mhm.
these. You have to have these rituals, or you have to have these thoughts. And if you don't, then you end up becoming very
Right.
distressed.
Right.
And when I say distressed, I'm not meaning I'm upset because I
Right.
didn't do this. No, like you will have to turn around, go back to your house to check
Mhm.
your oven for the 8th time because on the 7th you had to leave and you had no more choice. But then you had to come back
Right.
because it wasn't the 8th time.
And it's always those like I guess I don't know if I'd say illogical, but it's right. It's
Right.
not like oh, the roof started leaking and I need to check the pan I put under it 3 times to make sure. Like no, it's not
that's
that.
not it. Not it at all.
Right? It's if I don't lock the door 3 times in 5-minute intervals, then someone will break in and kill my entire family.
Right. Yes.
Which like it's like kind of, but you could check it once and you'll be
well,
okay.
as long
Right?
as it's locked, you're probably okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Right.
But
Right.
fictional example of OCPD.
Another hard one, I think, because I think, again, people go for the
Yeah.
OCD,
Yeah.
but we did say maybe Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang Theory.
That
but
was the number one name that came
yeah,
up whenever.
but I think
I think his is hard to pin down.
he's got a little bit of everything, I think, or some other things, too.
I think he does in terms of when other people don't follow what they're supposed to do. That is
Right,
very
right,
evident.
right,
The OCPD in him is very evident for that.
right.
But yes, there's a lot of other factors at play with Sheldon Cooper.
Yeah.
He's very interesting. We could do
Yeah.
a case study on
We
Sheldon
could
Cooper.
do a case study.
He-
Yeah, because there probably is there could be some OCD with him, I think. Maybe.
I think
Very light.
yeah, I
Light
think he's-
OCD.
Yeah, I think he's very much. I don't know. I think he fits a lot of other clustered personality disorder
Oh.
things.
Okay.
I think you could make an argument that he has traits of narcissistic. PD.
Really?
He thinks he's very smart. I mean, he is
But he
very
is very
very
smart.
smart, but he thinks other people who aren't as smart are less than him. I think
That's
I think you
true.
can make arguments for some of that. Same with like him with like schizo. Like I think you can make an
Yeah, I
argument for him
think
with
yeah,
schizoid,
you
too.
could. Yeah.
I very much think he
But
falls under the range of almost one in each cluster.
But he is very rigid too about like his spot on the couch, right? Like he can't
Yes. We can't have the spot if somebody sits in
Right,
the spot
and he
messes
can't-
up the seat.
whatever he is, he can't.
But that's to me rings very much more of like ASD, like autism spectrum
Yeah,
disorder,
that's
than
yeah.
really.
I wonder if that's not my strength to
And
know
my-
what that looks like, but
You and I don't work with the children, so
The
we can't really talk
children's.
much about that.
I think I could see some of that too, right? Those kind of rigid patterns you would see in a autism spectrum
Yes.
diagnosis as well.
Yes. One person I did forget to mention for dependent, going back.
Oh
one.
yeah.
I know we talked about you did not watch the show, but Buster Bluth with Arrested Development.
Okay.
You would love that show.
Okay.
He's the youngest.
I've tried to watch it. I didn't like it. I know, but I said that about Downton Abbey
Canceled.
too, and I loved it.
Don't know, he's great. No, he's the youngest child. He's very much dependent on his mother, who loves him. As we'll say
A
that.
loose term.
Yeah, it's a loose term. She's probably could be diagnosed with a narcissistic personality disorder herself. But he's very dependent on his mother and everything that she does and does for him. And it's a very funny show if anybody's ever watched it. They came out with like a 4th or 5th season like more recently. It was on like 10 plus years ago. It was very popular, and then it was a couple seasons, and then it went away, and they had like a fourth season, which I watched the whole thing. It's very good. I think you would like it if you watched it, if you gave it a chance. It is very hard to get
I
into the
can
first
try.
part, like
I mean,
5 episodes.
I love the people. I love Will Arnett.
Oh, so good.
What's his face
The
from
best part
Ozark?
is when Michael Cera like kind of has a thing for his cousin and like doesn't know what to do with it. That's really
Oh.
the best part of that show. It's really
Interesting.
funny. It's so funny. But I would argue that Buster Bluth is dependent personality disorder just because of all of that. But yeah. OCPD, that's definitely Sheldon. I've been trying to think of other examples, and there's nothing that I can't think of a character rigid enough that would fall into this OCPD.
No, I think these are kind of less well known and
yeah, like a lot of the articles that I said, like I said before, pretty much were saying this would not be a person that would be a main character in a book, a TV show, or a movie.
Or it was like real people again, and it's
right.
Like, trying to stay away from that.
And I'm trying to think of even like people. I'm trying to think of people who are not currently alive, but I can't think of anybody that would fall under this. Well, I just don't want to. I mean, we're very.
I know we're very ethical on this
I don't wanna
podcast.
use a real
I
person.
know. Anyone in your life? Oh wait, not a real person. Not a real person.
No.
Your husband.
No, not at all. No, I think it's. I don't know. It's just one of those that you just don't see very often because it's very much.
Mm-mm.
Routine and structure and all of that you just don't
Right.
that I don't know that going to therapy would fit into that.
Well, and again, I don't think these people are really seeking out therapy, right? Like the avoidants are
for
avoiding.
Sure not. Absolutely not.
The dependents are depending, so they think they're fine. And
right, and they're not fine, but
they're not
fine. They
fine.
think they're fine, unless their
And-
person tells them they're not fine.
right,
then they're not
and
fine.
then maybe they're gonna come.
Right.
And then the OCPDs are they're too busy.
I just
Too
I
much.
don't think they're changing their routine to go to therapy.
Oh God, no.
But yeah, that's
Yeah.
the cluster. That's the cluster C's.
So then, treatments.
Yes.
What do you think? I mean, again, we at this third time we talked about it, but
Right.
there's really no specifics. I don't.
I think for this cluster though, it's slightly different because a lot of it is anxiety-esque, like an offshoot of anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
You can do a lot of codependency type of stuff with the dependent personality disorder, which that's not my wheelhouse in any way, shape, or form. I don't know if you have any.
No.
You're like, no. It would be hard for me as a therapist to really.
I think maybe some like exposure therapy probably would be good, where you kind of expose them to the anxiety
I was gonna say
and
the
how to deal
avoidant for
with
sure.
it.
That would be good.
Well, I think the dependent too,
I
because you
think
would
for all
say,
three, you could probably do.
We're gonna make a decision today.
Right. You have to make the decision.
You have to make that decision.
Have you ever I don't want to say worked with, but had people in your life that had a tough time?
Yes.
It's the worst.
Yeah, I won't name names in case they're listening.
Jackie.
Jackie Black. Oh, Jackie, beep.
No, I like that's how I picture dependent. Like it's just I cannot make a decision.
Yeah.
Like I deal with that a lot, and I just it's like
I
can't think this.
Yeah, I did. I had a friend. I won't say when again to protect their identity. It's not current, but they've been canceled. They've been canceled. No, I just we're not as close now. But they would always could not make a decision for themselves whatsoever. Yeah. I mean, it was like, should I do this or should I do that? I was like, just do it.
Do whatever you want to do.
Do whatever you want.
I don't know what to do. That's why I'm talking to you. And I'm like, you don't know what to do.
Don't ask me.
What? I knew what to do 10 minutes ago. I mean, I've already made this. I've already done the decision. It's already been. We're already.
I've moved on.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think a lot of the treatment for this is like offshoots of anxiety, exposure for sure. I think you could probably medicate some parts of this. Avoid it if it makes you if it interferes so deeply with you, like, I don't know, connecting with other people because you're afraid, and like you could probably have some type of medication and or
I think
pharmaceutical.
Yeah, I wonder if you could do medications for sort of the rigid aspects of like OCPD.
Yeah.
I think you could.
Probably.
Because I know I have some, like, again, not that OCD is the same, but for the rigid thoughts, I have some patients who take just like a SSRI. It does great for them, I think. Or is it something like that? Just like an antidepressant.
We're not doctors.
We're not doctors, but, you know, I'm sure there could be something like that
Yeah,
would
for
help.
sure.
But again, as far as the personality disorder itself, no, there's no medications.
Right. Well, I think a lot of the treatment would probably be based around like CBT, at least for like
Yeah.
avoidant, and maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, dependent would be a hard one to treat if you really didn't feel like anything was wrong.
I mean, yeah, it'd have to be some exposure, I think.
I think,
Yeah.
I think, and I don't feel like that would go very well in some facets.
No, it'd probably, yeah.
Probably go very.
But again,
poor.
I think talking about exposure therapy and what people get wrong, people think they just like throw you into your
Like
fear
throw a snake
and
at
you're
your
done.
face when you're afraid of snakes. Like, here you go. Like, it's
Deal
very,
with it.
Yeah, it's very much
Right.
not that. It's very
structured.
It's very, and it's very slow. It's not
Mhm.
like you get exposed to whatever the fear is.
And you get taught the coping skills.
It almost reminds me in some ways of like EMDR, or like
Yeah.
not in the way of like that all, but like
Yeah.
it's a very gradual like
Right.
process of that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's I don't know. These are just like the ones I have the least amount of. We both are like,
Yeah.
we don't know. We're, like,
Yeah.
we're just
I don't know. We're just talking about
we're just
them.
we're just kikiing about this.
Kikiing.
We're just chilly chatting.
Talking about shit we don't know.
I
Well,
mean,
welcome to the pod.
And it's hard to say which one's a favorite. I guess if
I
you
know.
I guess if you had to
Well-
work with one of them, I guess which one would you want to work with, or which one do you think you would, I don't know, connect with the most?
I think probably the avoidant. I was going to say the dependent, but I think I would find the indecisiveness a little frustrating.
So you would do avoidant.
So I think I would do the avoidant because, again, I think there'd be some self-esteem work, which I do love. Do love some self-esteem work.
Yeah.
And some mindfulness to work on that anxiety. So I think that would be, because the dependent, like, you would start off and you'd be like, okay, today you're going to decide where you're sitting. And it would be
They're
like
standing in the corner of
it
the
would
room,
be
they
like
will
your
not
whole
move.
45-minute session, and I would be like, I'm going to lose my mind.
They're just.
Well,
I
you're-
just picture like a random person just standing in the corner. You're like, you need to choose a seat. There's 2 seats, and they're like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Or you one day you make it easy, you take all the chairs but one, and you're like, you have to decide where you're going to put that chair, and they're like, I can't.
Oh my god,
I can't do
love
it.
I think, I don't know. For me, this is a struggle because I think I would probably really like to work with OCPD, only because I think it would be really cool to watch the growth of that. Like if you were able to
Yeah.
really make a breakthrough of like the rigidity.
Mm-hmm.
I also just kind of straight up be like, why are you so rigid? What's
What's
going
that
on with that? Yeah,
about?
why are you doing that? Like where's that come from, you think? Like I think I would want to do a lot of like questioning around where did what's the origin story to your rigidity?
The origin story.
I think that would be really interesting. Figure that out and try to get to the bottom of that. I also think avoidant would be probably one of the other one that I would really love
Yeah.
to. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
All that comes to mind is I had a professor in grad school who talked about this client that she had, and it was like a teenager, so I don't want to say it was like a personality disorder, but they would not talk, and it wasn't like it wasn't
Oh.
a defiant not talk, like they were just
Like
like
a selective mutism.
yeah, like they were afraid to talk, so they would just write like past notes
Oh,
basically
okay.
for their sessions. And
Okay.
I always wondered about that, like much later, if that was avoidant or if that was something totally unrelated, if it was because they just didn't want to.
Yeah.
And over time, when they built up that rapport and that trust, it became
Yeah.
they could have an actual session without you know
Yeah,
writing
That's
notes.
nice.
But I thought it was brilliant. I was like, I would never.
Yeah.
Most people would be like, no, you will sit in silence until the other person responds.
That would be me. I would know.
I
what to
probably
do.
would have done that too. I did that a lot in the prison.
Yeah.
Like
I'd
if
be like, I can sit here all day. I'll get paid
so many
either
people
way.
are uncomfortable with silence. It's
Oh,
really
I love it.
interesting.
And when they call out, you're being quiet. Yeah, I am. This is your time, not mine. What am I gonna say?
Right. It's
What
not.
am I
Yeah.
gonna say?
People really think it's so interesting. People really think that therapy is about like the therapist needs to be doing a lot more, and I'm like, it's really not that deep.
It's
like,
really not.
Anyways, we could have a whole separate
Yeah, we need to talk about
podcast of
yeah.
treatment in general. Just what does that mean? Okay, so if you had to diagnose yourself with one of them, or say you have traits of one more than the others, or
Mhm.
whatever, which one do you think you fall under?
I would probably fall under OCPD.
Okay.
Yeah, I tend to be a perfectionist. I've done a lot better as I age slowly
as you
age,
become more
as
established.
I get into my late 20s. But I do have a hard time delegating
Okay.
because
yeah.
I think I would just rather do it because I know it'll be done my way and it'll be done right.
Yeah,
and
100.
it,
Yeah, I get
like
that.
I won't have to go back and do it. But like if I don't get to, I'm not like verklempt about it. Like
Yeah.
I'll get through. Stubborn. I've never been described as that. But some might. Some might say I
might.
am. But yeah, not the extreme. Just that extreme when those don't follow through. So, what about you? What do you think you would be?
I think for me, I would not because of fear and shame, but I think I would be avoidant. I could avoid. Oh, I could avoid stuff.
I don't think that's what that is. Just
I-
avoid people.
Yeah, I could have.
Yeah.
I think I could. I don't know. I don't know. I think I could really identify with people who have avoidant more so than anything else. Just because I would honestly, most people would not agree with this. I would really describe myself as a shy person. I wouldn't say timid, but I
Yeah.
would say shy. And I can relate to that a little bit better. I don't feel like I'm not. As we've established, neither of us are dependent
No.
PD. I'm very much
Mm-mm.
independent.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe too independent, as some would say. And I don't identify with anything with OCPD. I mean, maybe the focus on like details, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
I can be stubborn, but it's not much. It's not like in the sense of, you didn't follow my rules, so I'm not like, I don't know. Avoidant is the one that just speaks to me, I think, the most. That I'm
I
like,
think
oh, this is the most.
Just because
like
it has
you.
the word avoid in it.
It means go off the grid for.
Yeah.
As I talk about this, someday I'm
No,
gonna do that.
don't be the TikTokers and say, "Oh, I have avoidant personality because I avoid people."
No, or it's like the I'm antisocial, and
Yeah.
it's like, no, you don't even know what that
No.
means. If you met somebody
Yeah.
who's antisocial, you'd be probably terrified to talk to them.
Yeah.
Some of them are real scary. But
Well,
yeah,
scary.
avoidant. So yeah, I think that's really.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with that.
Interesting. Well, we've talked about them all.
I know.
That's all
that's
the
the con-
personality
That's
disorders.
the conclusion of
All of them.
the clusters.
Our trilogy until they make up more.
Let us know your favorites, I guess, if you got a favorite.
Yeah.
We
Let us
would-
know your favorite.
Yes.
Don't tell us what you have unless you've been formally diagnosed. I guess then you can
Right.
tell
I don't
us,
want to
but-
hear. I don't want to say. I watched the TikTok dancers point to the screen and tell me I have avoidant personality disorder because I don't like to do homework or I don't like to do tasks at work. Although that's not unlike me, I guess.
I would say, are we reading ourselves?
Right. This is me saying I hate to work. Working's not my fantasy ever.
Ever.
It
Yeah.
should be. I hope it's not anyone's fantasy, but yeah, that's the trilogy.
What? Let's see. I always on my on the fly.
You always
Deep
do such a good job with this.
questions.
I can never go this fast.
What? Who are top three? Okay, let's do a top three.
Ooh, okay.
Top three people that when you need to make a big decision, who do you go to?
Me, myself, and I. No, I'm just kidding. I honestly. Does the decision? Were you putting a specific decision, or is it just kind of any decision?
No. Like a major
life decision?
life. Like I'm going to change my career, or I'm going to move
okay.
across the country, or
Honestly,
something like
I
that.
mean, I'm married
okay.
to my first husband.
I'm not convinced
right now.
by your statement.
I'm married to my first husband. So when you're in a relationship, I would hope if it's a good relationship, you would talk.
Well,
to
Jackie, I did
person.
ask you, and you've not yet said it's Justin, so I'm a little concerned. But another pod, maybe.
No. Number one is probably my husband Justin. Number two is me. I look in the mirror and have a conversation with myself. No, I mean that isn't completely untrue. I honestly probably my mom. Just I don't know. Although I don't feel like I have to get approval from anybody else.
No, I'm not
besides
talking to
myself.
prove. I'm just like who are you going to talk it out?
Probably Justin is probably the only person.
Okay,
at this
so not
point I
even
would
a top
really-
three.
Yeah, I don't even have really top three. If I'm really conflicted about, so I'll say something. I'll talk to my mom about it, and she's a pretty good sounding board for that stuff. But beyond that, no. I mean, I think that's something you have to like really just figure out internally. But that's just for me. What about you? Who's your top three? You got top three?
Yeah, I think my top three. Well, probably my best friend Lauren. Hi, Lauren.
Lauren.
I probably would talk to her about it incessantly. I would probably talk to my mom as well, but I mean, no tea, no shade to her, but she wouldn't give feedback. She would more of just be one that you're just like, you're just talking it out.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, and then I'd probably figure something out. And then my third would probably be, it'd probably be like work, like people I work with, like my boss and some of my coworkers that I enjoy. Maybe even you. I'd probably run it by you, and probably Claire maybe.
Oh, Claire.
Quick little
Claire
group chat and say, hey.
Our group chat's
Lot
very
going
interesting,
on.
Yeah, lots of gifts.
Yeah, definitely my therapist friends I would go to
Yeah.
as well to see
If it
what
was
they
if
think.
it was big, I would also pull friends into
Yeah.
it. If it's like run of the mill kind of stuff,
Yeah.
it's not that.
But it wouldn't be like, oh, I'm taking a vote. Like 2 people said,
Can you
move, and one
imagine
said
if
don't,
you
and
live
I'm
your life like
moving.
that?
It would be more of just like, what are the facets of this?
Well, and the people can give good perspective of things that you don't
Yeah,
necessarily
that you don't think of, right?
Right. Yeah, could you imagine though, like having people say, "I'm gonna it's a democracy in my life. You vote
No.
and you tell me."
I would. Are you? No.
No.
I'm not giving
bye-bye.
some people in my life the power to vote on my life. Are you kidding me?
I mean, we don't have to talk about the government again, but I mean, no.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Questionable decisions.
Yeah, lots of questionable decisions have been made. Yeah, no, I think I'm with you on all that.
Very good.
I love it.
Okay.
Well,
What's next? What are we doing?
I don't know. We haven't really.
Well, shit. What y'all doing?
Well, shit, what y'all doing?
You'll have to see.
You'll have to wait and see.
You'll have to
You'll
wait
have
and see.
to see what we come up with for the next episode. It could be.
Could be amazing.
It could be.
Could be rotten.
Probably rotten
Probably
if you're gonna put your
rotten.
money on it. I
Yeah,
would
if
put it
you're
on
gonna,
rotten.
yeah, if there's,
I would put it on rotten.
yeah. Make sure that you are following our Insta. We are Insta.
We are very famous.
I wouldn't
on
say
social
verified,
media.
but we are. We have a
Some-
presence.
Some presence is a loose term. We do have an Instagram.
We do. Two Tired
Yep,
Therapists.
at Two Tired Therapists. You'll see our little logo if you
Mhm.
listen to us. You can
Mhm.
listen to us on Apple and Spotify
Mhm.
as of this recording. Maybe some more.
Maybe
later.
more.
If it's later, and we have more, we can post about it on our
Yeah,
social
you'll see
media.
it. You'll see it.
So if you like this and you want to give us
Mhm.
feedback, we encourage hate comments.
Oh, we absolutely
deeply.
do. Absolutely.
Because you'll just get blocked. So and we won't feel bad about it.
And then we'll talk about you on the podcast.
We'll read out what you said, and we'll also put your username on there. So
And we have some pretty messed up friends who will come after you. So you know who you are.
yeah. Oh, yes, I can think of our little
Oh.
our 5 little person group chat that is rotten, just rotted, gutted.
Rot it. Well, honestly, we're probably the most rotten out of all of them.
Probably.
They're all like
I'm not-
they're all like married with children. So
Yes, yeah, it's so good. Yeah, so come to our socials. Go to it's just one social, not it's.
yeah, that's all we got.
singular.
Yeah, currently.
We still have the email if you want to email
Mhm.
us if you would like to do that.
Yeah.
I'm sure. It's,
Questions or
yeah.
follow up thoughts
If you have
about
if you request for episodes,
yeah,
if you
info.
we are open to feedback. Only nice feedback, not negative feedback. So take
Yeah.
that elsewhere.
We will just delete your negative feedback and continue
Delete
about.
and block, cancel.
Mhm.
we
Cancel.
will not speak to you.
Mhm.
No, we we need to think of if there's anything else.
Oh, I'm sure
I
we
think
could could find
what
something.
we could do is we should do some more. I don't know if people like the diagnostics. We could do more of the diagnostics.
Yeah, of like fake people,
Yeah.
like
We
diagnosing
could
fake
do
people.
case studies. We should start looking at case
Yeah,
studies. and
of
start-
like fake.
yes.
Send us your favorite characters. We'll rip them apart psychologically.
The best thing is if they would do like fake psychological testing, that would be even better. Because then you would know.
Like the character.
Yeah, like if they did like it's not.
Oh.
But if you know what I mean, like you would be able to have like a whole profile and be able to talk about it like that. Even
I
though
mean-
we can't do that necessarily, but
We could, right? No.
we can. But we can't do we can't do all of the testing.
Whatever.
We'll do case studies.
We'll figure it
We'll
out.
figure this
We know.
Someday we'll figure it
Someday.
out. We'll have a plan. Until then.
Until then, we'll wing it and see what
We'll
happens.
just until then we'll catch you on the flippity flip.
See you then. Bye.
Bye.